everyone. I'm David Roome, and I'm joined tonight by Katie Roome.
Hi.
We're going to continue on with building the Galaxy Explorer. It's been a long time since we've streamed Lego stuff. A lot is going on in our lives right now, and we're busy, and we were sick for a while, but now we're trying to get back into it. We're probably not going to go for a super long time tonight, but we need to pick this up again. So let me just make a tweet saying that we're live, and I might double check quick that we have audio, so you might hear a little bit of feedback. But all right. And let's see here. Let me just check the audio. Are you about ready?
I'm about ready.
Okay. I'll just double check that the audio is coming through here. Don't be alarmed if there's an echo. Oh, I need to detach my headphones. Come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. Seems like it's working. So yeah, I think so. It looks like we've done the first two bags so far of the Galaxy Explorer, and now we're on the third. I think something that struck me with this set, at least at this point, is just how big it is. I mean, I knew it was pretty good sized, but it looks quite a bit bigger in person, I think, than it does in the video or in the box art. I think it is. This is pretty much the total length, though, because this is a part that folds up in the rear. So I don't think it's going to get any bigger than this, but still, it's pretty cool. And then another neat part that we've built so far is that there are these cool landing pads or landing gear that fold up into the bottom of the ship. Very flat. I don't know if I've seen this piece before. It's a flat rounded square piece that connects with these Technic pins, so you get this upside down construction. And then you can see the cockpit here has 4 seats, so you can start to see just how big the interior of the ship is, which is pretty cool. So, you want to go first?
Sure. Do you want to read this little note?
Yeah, so it says the model features the same 4 astronauts from the original set, only their helmets have been slightly modified and now feature a stronger chin strap. So, a common thing that would happen, I guess, with the original Lego space is that the chin straps, so the helmets, would break, and they called that out in the Lego movie with, I think his name was Benny.
Yeah.
Having a broken chin strap. And one kind of fun thing about that is they made minifigures of Benny with a helmet mold that had the chin strap pre-broken.
That's funny.
So and I have a little set that has that Benny in it. So at some point I'll get those out and we'll compare with the Lego movie set and see if they're different. I also do have some Lego space stuff that isn't quite as old as this. I was born in '89, and I have some Lego space stuff that was like from a couple years after I was born. But I think that might have been after they started tweaking the chin strap. So we've got a few different people watching. Hello, AWL. Do you know who AWL is? Is that a new viewer?
No, I don't think so.
Then we have Doug Wise
Sorry,
and William Jeffrey Rankin. So hey, everybody.
Okay, I've already messed up.
What did you put his helmet on before you put the oxygen tanks on? Nice.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
Yeah, we might have to solve this at a different time. That head is on there.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. We've got the left channel issue again. Let me see. There should be a fix for this. If I switch it to mono, there we go. That should fix that. Let me know if that fixes the stereo issue. Okay, we'll just go on. That head is on there.
I'm sorry.
Just, babe, we'll just go on.
Okay.
The heads are not really designed to come off once they're on there.
Yeah, so I've put this guy out there without his oxygen.
And I don't wanna take a pliers to it and wreck it right now. So we'll fix it some other way. Why don't you keep going? Yeah, thanks for pointing out about the audio. I never it seems like something always goes wrong with audio or video lately. And I don't know if it's just because OBS is kind of like not stable. I need to figure out better how to manage the different profiles.
But you're a kid.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
They're if we keep hearing them all, go look.
Okay. We were out of town this weekend, and our son had just a few nightmares. He usually soothes himself before I can even get in there, but
I think he'll be better now that we're home.
yeah, I think so too. Sorry, you guys. I didn't realize I was doing all of this off camera. I will try to be better. I'll pass it to David, who will be better.
Okay. And I'll try to get the instruction manual on here too. Is this as far as it comes out?
It's as far as it comes out.
Okay, cool.
I could try and scoop myself over.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we're building this kind of wing assembly that goes on the side of the ship. So you could start sorting some pieces a little bit if you wanted.
Yeah.
It's nice to be working on this set again. There's some really neat Lego stuff that is coming out soon, but I always feel weird about having too much of a backlog of Lego that I haven't built. I like to keep after it, although I have had some sets recently that I've saved for like a year before building. The Batmobile was one. They're coming out with a Barradur set, and my camera's all choppy for some reason. Yeah, they're coming out with a Barradur set that looks interesting. I'm not sure that it's one I would necessarily want to buy, but I'm curious to see how it's designed and what aspects of it. I saw what supposedly was a leaked image of it, and it's very tall. It's very tall, but also has somewhat of a base on it. So there's a little bit of terrain as well.
I like terrain.
Yeah. And I bet it's got an interior. So I would be curious to see how that is designed. Okay. Oh, that's big. Wow. Just got way wider. Yeah, AWL. I'm less interested in the eye itself as I am in pretty much every other part of it. So curious to see what they do. Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, watch where you're building.
Sorry.
We should have we could pivot the camera around to the other side if you wanted. Should we try that? And then just give me 1 second, you guys, and I'll flip it over. Then you don't have to reach so far.
Thanks, babe.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, I thought that's what we did before. So. Nice. So this appears to be the perfect mirror image.
We could have just done one in another, but
well,
we didn't know.
Yeah, sometimes there's different. Oh yeah, this is way more comfortable. Don't have to reach as far in. Sometimes there's little differences. One of my very favorite Lego sets ever, the X-Wing from 2018, is kind of a tricky set because there's a lot of different markings between the wings, so you really can't just build 4 wings. You have to follow the directions because there's little color variations and stuff, and that's something I really like about that set. Okay. Oh. There we go.
Wow.
Okay, and I'm just going to double check. We've got some warnings here about the stream. The stream bit rate. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Okay.
Okay.
William Jeffrey Rankin's pointing out that the Rings of Power preview is coming out tomorrow. That has to be really depressing working on that show, because I feel like even if it gets good, the first season was just so awful that, you know, who's gonna watch it? You know, like if you're not already watching it, who would suffer through the first season to get into a later season? You know, like Game of Thrones was really good at the beginning. I mean, I never watched it. I don't like Game of Thrones, but as far as, you know, things that people liked, it was good at the beginning, stayed good or got better, and then got bad at the end. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, AWL says that there was horrible behind the scenes stuff like accidents. I kind of remember hearing about that too.
Yeah, I'm not even doing too much commenting on it on Twitter this time around. Normally it's good for an eye roll post, easy engagement, but just sort of done with the whole goofy thing.
I like that post somebody made where they were like, if you don't like Rings of Power, don't come in here and comment on other people's stuff and wreck it for us. I'm like, this is Twitter. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
This color palette for the spaceship uses only colors that were available in 1979 when the original product was released, except for color 194, medium stone gray.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the basic gray because they've changed the gray color since the 90s.
The old gray yellowed pretty badly, didn't it?
No, it wasn't that it yellowed. It was just a more yellow gray.
Oh.
So the modern gray, well, so most Lego light colored pieces will yellow over time, especially in the sun. I mean, they've changed formulas and stuff, but the base color of it is a not bluish. It's more of a yellowish or brownish.
Okay.
So it looks, compared to the modern gray, it looks yellowed, but it's not. It's just that's the color that it was. Yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. It looks now like we're building these chains of pieces on hinges that are gonna pivot into like this. I'm just gonna try something here. I'm gonna switch. So I'm gonna just switch over to the other network.
Okay.
Quick and see if that helps. We've got these freezing issues, and the weird thing here is I'm seeing it on my side. So it's almost like the camera itself is freezing.
Huh.
I don't think it's the I don't think it's the internet, but I'm just gonna try once switching over to the other net. And oh no, yeah, there we go. Okay, still getting warnings.
What can you do, I guess?
Yeah, what can you do? We need to reboot our router more, I guess. Although it was just off while we were out of town. So I think seeing that this didn't fix it, I'm just going to switch back to the other.
Yeah.
Enough of the people who maybe weren't familiar with the source material or just thought it was fine, keep watching. I feel like that's kind of how TV is lately. It's just none of it's really very good, but people still watch it because I guess what else do you do with your time? I don't know. I don't understand it, but
I think it's just bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of being like, okay, there's nothing on, I'm going to do something else. They just keep sitting down and.
Is the brick separator around?
Yes.
Okay. I built this backwards. You know, like you don't hear about people getting halfway into a show and then quitting.
Yeah.
People kind of decide, make up their minds quick, I feel like.
And I'm not very hopeful for the Peter Jackson stuff either.
Oh yeah. That's another annoying thing.
Just seems like people want to say that he'll be more loyal or whatever to Tolkien's vision, but that I think we've seen already with The Hobbit that that's not the case.
Yeah, and I don't know what's up with that, like, because it just was so off compared to Lord of the Rings. It's like, what happened? Were there people that were holding him back with Lord of the Rings
Or
that prevented that from happening, or was it special effects weren't there or something?
some people say it's because he wasn't on the project right away, like he wasn't the initial director. I don't know if that is necessarily true. I watched a lot of the in production videos, YouTube videos that he did, and something that was very important to him appeared to be following through on the legacy of the Lord of the Rings movies, particularly in the technological aspect. So they had all of the wonderful costumes and stuff, but he appeared to feel like he needed to be experimenting. So you got those weird cameras.
Yeah, there was that whole debacle.
And it, like, the cameras themselves sucked all the color out of stuff. Like, if you see pictures of the actual Mirkwood set, it's painted garishly.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make that show up.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So that just slots in right there. AWL says you don't want to watch Aragorn chase Gollum around for 2.5 hours. Well, that's the other thing I got to thinking about that, and I mean, they're not going to recast, they can't recast, what's his face as Aragorn again, right? Because he's 20 years older now.
They did it with Legolas.
Well, that was 10 years ago.
I suppose.
Right? So, I am curious to see how they recast or what, or maybe it's going to be just like a Rings of Power type thing where they just make up a whole bunch of random characters or have existing characters doing random stuff that is not at all implied in the lore.
Yeah,
William Jeffrey Rankin points out that War of the Rohirrim might be good. That's the anime.
Yeah.
That one looks good, I guess, but
I don't know. Can we just get a faithful adaptation from somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
You know, see someone else's vision on screen, in a way that is still like Tolkien stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love to see another Hobbit done like The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
or just a new IP.
That would be wonderful too.
I mean, I would love it if just a Western anime of a completely original IP came to the movie theater. That would be something that I would support, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think there's real damage to, like, real damage to society in the fact that we can't move on and make new IPs.
Yeah. New ideas, new things.
Yeah. everything has to be a rehash. And to me, the IP is such a small part of like what makes a movie good. I mean, I know it's there for marketing purposes and being able to get people into seats, but I just wish people could get over that. I wish people could think, "Oh, yeah, I'd like to see a new IP just as much as I'd like to watch yet another stupid Lord of the Rings spin-off, you know." You want to work on this one together? So
Sure.
there's it's just a two-sided thing.
Do you want blue or yellow?
No, we each do one of the two. So like there's
I see.
two of these.
Two.
There's two of these, and then there's one of those.
Okay.
So I'll do the ones that go on this side. How about that?
I see. You said you were taking the far side, right?
Yep.
Okay. Just double checking.
So these are basically locking things into place. This piece here is actually a fairly new piece. I believe it came out in about 2019. It's like a little rod that goes into a hole with a stud. And it's really useful for things like we're doing now, where you're trying to lock different pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
You doing it for me?
No.
Oh, you're doing your last one yet?
Yes.
Okay.
How could you accuse me?
Now you... Okay. Yeah, okay. There's no spacer on the yellow one.
It seems like there isn't anything.
Okay, now there's two of these too, so
Okay.
we should...
So today in the car, we were listening to the makings of Mega Man for DOS.
Yeah. I've
And-
been listening to gaming historian videos lately just because it's like very calming.
And we also listened to the making of Legend of Zelda's Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening, yeah.
And it just seems like there's nothing like that anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
People were trying new things,
Yeah.
experimenting. Now it's all just playing it safe.
What am I doing? That's wrong. I figured it out.
That's one thing I like about those documentaries too, is it's like, oh, they were the first people to try this, you know?
Yeah. But and it's not even just like they were the first people to try it. It's like the company was like, well, with Link's Awakening, the company was like, "Oh, you guys are working on this cool project on your own. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll make it official." Right? Like instead of something that's that takes tons and tons of money.
Mm-hmm. So these are gonna stick on the sides like this.
Fun.
Well, that's the other problem. Part of the problem is that things are too expensive to make now, right? As technology advances,
Yeah, but
things get more expensive, so it requires a lot more resources to make things to the standard that people expect. So you have to really expect or know that people are gonna like it, so it kind of gets into the that's why you're streaming it. Can you not
okay.
not do that, or at least turn it down to a very low quality level?
It was my fault again, guys.
Yeah. Are you on the same network too?
I have no idea.
And yeah, and you were streaming it at 720.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to keep track of the chat. I wanted to be involved.
Are you on the same network? Just pop down your wireless settings.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what was going on.
Okay.
Sorry. You don't need to feel bad about it, but when you're trying to send stuff up and down, it's I guess we're still. I don't know what's going on. Okay. All right, and you can see the chat right here.
I can't read it.
Okay. Then bring it back up.
No, it's okay.
Bring it back up, and turn the quality level down.
After a brief look at it, I'm not certain that I know how to bring the quality level down. In a
all right, we'll look at it. We'll look at it later then. That's something that you should know how to do. Because on a tiny screen like that, you can't really see, especially when you're not looking at it on the whole screen. You can't see the pixels anyway. So.
Are we supposed to open a bag?
Was it 3 and 4?
No, just 3. I don't see this. I haven't seen these pieces. That's why I ask.
Yeah. It's almost certainly. We're just supposed to open 4. That's funny. Let's see if if it shows 5 at some point. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of additional pieces, so they just forgot to put the bag 4 in there. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Yeah. We're still having trouble with the stream bitrate, but I'm not seeing it being as jerky. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, Doug says that the built so far view looks pretty formidable in the instructions with all the primary colors. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. I would say this build is kind of hard to read. It's kind of hard to read compared to modern sets. They could have done with some extra colors. Yeah, I think part of what's wrong is, corporations don't try new stuff. Another thing that's wrong is that people's expectations are in the wrong place. So people expect rehashes of the same IPs, and they expect everything to be big budget.
You want to do the other side?
And I think that there is kind of an operating point where, so we've got to put these plates on.
Yeah.
There's kind of an operating point in a lot of things between the tiny indie stuff and the super big budget, stuff that is kind of not paid attention to a lot of the time. All the AAA games are super high tech, super content intensive, and then all the indie games are kind of like very primitive technology. There's a big unexplored space in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think the same could be true of movies too. Where are the $20 million action movies? Where are the $50 million fantasy movies these days?
Should I do this or
Yeah.
would you like to?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
So it looks like we're going to be building a bunch more of these outside edge pieces that kind of smooth off the edge.
Should I keep doing this side? Because
No.
Okay.
Let's trade off.
All right.
And let's just build through this bag and call it good for tonight. I think that would be a good place to stop.
I agree. Oops, sorry.
Well, I'm still seeing some bitrate warnings, but I'm not seeing the video go jerky.
That's good.
Anymore. So I don't know what was causing it exactly, but yeah, William Jeffrey Rankin says it looks okay on this end.
That's good.
A good tech upgrade to make at some point, which might be a better router. Another thing that we could do, which I would like to do, is let's see here, what is going on here? Oh, they want us to do this. Which I would like to do at some point is we could also think about bringing the router into the library and being able to hardwire things.
That's true.
I think that would be potentially a nice thing. It would just take a lot of different variables out of the equation.
Babe, I think we missed this build over here.
Oh, yeah, maybe we did. Maybe that was during one of the outages. Here, you want to build that quick?
Sure.
Oh, you know what? We missed it because it's not in here.
Have to go this way. And then...
Oh, yeah, no, there it is. There it is. Yeah, it's right here.
Am I doing it right? Yeah. We have turned.
Okay, there we go.
Now, before. Is there?
Yeah, I built that. That's there.
Was there stuff on this side?
Yeah, we built both of those.
Okay. Oh yeah, way over there.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so there's this. So here you go.
Okay.
Wait, no. Sorry. I got head. Yeah, okay. So yeah, this goes on here like this. Okay. Oh, I see what I did wrong. This is kind of a either I'm going senile, or this is kind of a tricky build actually. There's a lot of places that are kind of easy to miss on this one. Okay. Another little edge piece like this.
Little one? Like these?
Oh yeah, there they are. Yeah, so they're talking about that goofy thread on how much it costs to publish a book.
That gave me a good chuckle.
Yeah, I don't know where those numbers came from, but I think it's pretty hilarious. And I mean, I don't doubt that you could spend that much money.
Oh yeah.
Like if you paid an editor $5,000 for several drafts, right?
Yeah.
Each. And I'm sure that there are some obsessive people who do that. But the idea that you could somehow think that is worth it, I think is really goofy.
Or necessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just adding the flat pieces on. And to just...
What have I done?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there should be a 3.
Oh, there.
There. Okay. The idea too that maybe... I think like one thing that I learned pretty quick, or an idea that I came across pretty quick when I started writing, is the idea that you don't want to over polish something because it can potentially kind of ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's obviously like an extreme version of that idea, which is like just dash something off and hit publish, and that's not true. And you want to write something good, right? So you probably need to practice a bit before you publish anything and things like that. I get it. But to me, it seems like fairly intuitive as an artist that there is power in kind of ideas that haven't been overworked. And I feel like if you're personally spending $100,000 on editing your book, you just don't have that intuition. And personally, I would have a hard time believing that a person who didn't have that intuition was a very good artist. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't spend $100,000 editing one book. Maybe you spend $100,000 editing 20 books. But don't spend $100,000 editing one book.
Yeah.
Right? Like that seems fairly intuitive to me. Can you just stop? Okay, what are you doing? Okay.
I was trying to. There's a grill piece there in the middle of these. Just there. I'm done now. I'm sorry. Either not a very good artist or just not very confident.
But that
needing that.
Yeah. I suppose there are people who are like not very good artists who are overconfident, but for the most part, I just feel like you have to have some confidence in your own work,
right,
as an artist, you know, like nobody else is going to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think good art kind of requires doing something a little goofy,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe other people aren't going to think is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and
Right.
probably are going to tell, like, I think just about anything can be workshopped to
Mm-hmm.
death. So I don't know. That also seems like kind of an intuitive thought to me, but
Yeah. Well, we kind of talked about this on our drive conversation where we talked about editing.
did we? I can't remember.
Well, I'm not to name names, but we were talking kind of about.
I thought there was something different that
Oh.
we were talking about. We were talking about editors just saying, hey, this isn't any good at all. Don't publish it.
Sure.
Like after you pay them a bunch of money.
That's also yes, that was an aspect.
That's
of
kind
it
of
that
the
we were talking
kind of
about,
the
yeah.
almost the opposite problem, right?
But I know that we talked about overworking stuff, even if it was only briefly.
I can't imagine spending that much on editing. Maybe like if you're just like a very rich person who doesn't understand how things work, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're some kind of trust fund kid or something. And you're like, I want to be an author, and you have some desire to put out something that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that you have to pay somebody, and you don't have any friends in real life that can read it and give you feedback, so you have to pay somebody maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What was this note about?
The red and green navigational lights on the original model were not placed traditionally. Red lights on the left side, green lights on the right. Instead, the red lights are towards the front and green towards the rear. This new model keeps that same placement.
Oh, it's like this?
Mm-hmm.
And then these.
Yep.
Cool. That's funny.
AWL says one of the Inklings' favorite things is reading over-edited books and trying not to laugh. That sounds funny. I don't know. I was just in that thread. I was just thinking about, you know, how much you could do with even $50,000, because I think that was the sort of, wasn't it like that was the conservative estimate, which I could see running up. Like if you found an editor that charged $5,000 and you paid them for that much for 10 drafts,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you could easily write that up. But for $50,000, you could make like a really kick-ass comic book.
Mm.
You know, you could hire a really legitimate artist to do interiors. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you could get a really good cover. I don't know. That just seems like better use of $50,000 than, you know, or just commissioning really good art.
Mm-hmm.
Illustrations for a prose book. You know, I've got this vision for being able to do like custom ship designs and trailers for people. And there's this YouTube channel that I follow called The Space Shipper, and the guy who runs that channel has his own sci-fi setting that he has audio drama in, and they kind of promote it with they have like sort of tech tech deep dives on different ships that are in the setting, and then he has trailers, or video clips where he has rendered 3D models of them, doing different things, and it's all quite professional looking. Like maybe not quite at the level of a TV show, but still looks really good. And that can't cost $50,000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, he's maybe spending tens of thousands or something on it, but it can't cost $50,000. And I think I could build technology that would let me charge something like a couple $1,000s to do that for people, right? So $50,000 just seems like really, really, really overkill for just a book. We talk a lot on here and on Katie's channel about how we kind of have a desire that for people to think of books as a bigger project, not just a book.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of in that vein, I couldn't spend $50,000 on just a book. I'd want it to be something cool that's bigger.
Yeah.
I didn't read too much of the thread to see if other people were having that particular take or not, because I feel like a lot of people don't really think like that. Like a lot of people I think were just fairly saying, well, that's too much money to spend. But I was kind of like, I was kind of enjoying thinking about, well, if you were to spend that much, what could you get? Instead of thinking, oh no, I wouldn't spend that much. Like, okay, if you were to spend that much, what could you get?
Yeah, you have $50,000 you have to spend, and it's all stuff that's not marketing, right? Because he was saying that's all before marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, $50,000 before marketing.
Well, and like the cool thing is that the stuff that I would spend the $50,000 on would be cool stuff, but it would also be marketing.
Right, because you'd be able to see and rearrange things, the different pieces.
You want to do this?
I certainly can.
All right, why don't you?
You missed a...
Did I?
Dud.
Yeah, AWL says an illuminated manuscript.
I saw a Kickstarter for one recently, and I was very, very tempted.
One cool thing that you could do is you could get it, you could make an audiobook, and then you could use chunks of the audiobook to do other stuff with, like trailers, or you could do an audio drama. I think an audio drama would be cool. I've been thinking about audio drama since we've been listening to the Star Wars audio drama. I think the problem with audio dramas is I would hate to try to sell one on social media because it's not visual, but it would still be cool. It'd be a cool thing to have an audio drama of your book. I mean, $50,000 though, that's getting into like movie territory.
Mm-hmm.
Or a promo trailer that involves special effects and actual actors and stuff.
Yeah.
Or other merch or just cool stuff.
Can I put it on?
Mm-hmm.
I can't see.
Yeah. Or if we're gonna just stick to just editing, rather than editing one book 10 times or whatever, write the whole series and then edit it as a whole and make sure that it's really good, and then rapid release it.
Mm-hmm.
make sure you have the whole thing planned out, have the ending, make sure the beginning is really solid, and then put it out.
Yeah.
If you have that much money to spend on it, you're probably not depending on having things selling as quick as possible to live. So you could just take your time and write the whole thing first before you put it out. Yeah, and if you're spending that kind of money, you're doing it probably whether or not other people actually like it. So you don't necessarily need to put it out to see if people want it before you finish it. Right? You're gonna do it anyway, so do it all up front, edit it all at once, maybe. I don't know. Does that make sense? William Jeffrey Rankin says that would be challenging. Yeah, it would. I tend to think it's pretty hard to predict whether anything would be successful until you put it out, but it would be one way to spend a lot of money on a big project if that's what you wanted to do.
All right.
We're almost done.
All right.
Doug Wise has a good point. He says, I gotta think real life inflation is having an impact on this kind of thing. Probably not a coincidence the fights over indies paying other indies are picking up in intensity now. Yeah, I think I've heard of that kind of thing going on for a few years. I think that's one of the challenges of kind of like being in the space where you're have these kind of like unprofessional, I don't mean like inappropriate, but just like non-professional relationships with people, where not enough money is being exchanged to kind of keep things more in the up and up. And you don't have employers and employees and things like that in play. But yeah, I mean, it's tricky because you want, everybody wants to have it all. You don't want to spend too much on a indie project, but you want to make sure ideally you'd find somebody who is making a reasonable amount of money or being recompensated fairly for their work, and that's tricky. And that's one of the reasons I've kind of like a couple of years ago I was kind of thinking about commissioning some artwork and things for a project, and I don't know, it's just so expensive. I don't think I'd. What are you doing? You're trying to get his head off?
Yeah, I was trying to get his head off.
I think it would probably take about $50,000 to make the thing that I'm picturing making. And I can't afford to spend that much, and I don't think I could crowdfund it. So I've kind of just been thinking a lot more about. Yeah, William Jeffrey Rankin says, I feel your pain. Yeah. I've just been thinking a lot more lately about what it would look like to do it myself. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's kind of a bummer because I would like to commission art and everything, but it's just like, well, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me wants to try to crowdfund something, but again, like I just feel like there's very little chance. Like it would have to be kind of a miracle for it to take off enough to get to the point where it would enable me to do something that I couldn't do without crowdfunding, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I have kind of a list of some artists that I think would be really cool to commission art for my project from, but to turn that into something that, you know, other people might be interested in buying would just require so much of it that it would be too expensive. You'd really have to find certain people that didn't charge so much, and then you're kind of in that weird operating point where I think the stuff like what Doug Wise is talking about is way more likely to go wrong.
Mm-hmm. All right, 10.
No, we are missing. This goes somewhere.
Uh-oh.
Oh, right in here.
That makes it easy.
Man, this thing is big. This thing is almost as big as the Millennium Falcon.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah, someday I'd like to do something like those Star Wars essential guides, but for my books. And I could do the like schematics and tech diagrams myself, but like character illustrations and other scenes and stuff like that, I think it would be really cool to get some other people to do, but it's just like, you know, you'd need like 50 illustrations, or maybe not 50, but you'd need at least like 20 illustrations, and an illustration costs $1,000, so right. There's that. Oh well. AWL says, gotta say, did sets always have this much going on under the hood? Not when I was a kid, they didn't, but this is, I think, pretty representative of a modern Lego set, and this is kind of a set that's meant for adults, so it's got a lot of extra detail in it, but there's a few different things going on, right? I mean, one is one thing is the functionality. So a lot of what's going on in the set is built around like these landing gear, and then the diagonal shapes. So this is like a more advanced version of that original Galaxy Explorer set, where these shapes are just made a lot more simply, and you have to have all of the supporting structure to get these diagonal, this diagonal stuff going for the greebles on the outside. So I think that's kind of what you're seeing here, and it's a lot of fun to build. A really good example of a set, like, I think that's kind of the apotheosis of this, is the Saturn V. Doesn't really look like a whole lot because it's just a rocket, but it is filled with this really crazy stuff on the inside to support the different radii of circular, studs facing outward shapes. It's really, really pretty insane on the inside, and it's fun to build. So I think that's why they're kind of leaning into this now, is adults enjoy thinking around with this. And you guys enjoy watching, I guess. So, all right, so next time, bag 5, building another character. I think looks like we'll be getting into details on the front, actually putting the top skin of the ship on a lot of outside details, really solidifying things. It looks like the last bit is going to be all the blue stuff
Cool.
on the back. Yeah, this is a pretty impressive set. I did not picture it being this big. This is quite large. I'm just going to grab the Millennium Falcon quick for size comparison. So this is the newest like play scale Millennium Falcon that they made. This is the one from The Force Awakens, which is nice. Sorry, it's a little dusty, but it's nice because it is like they restored the dish and everything, and I think it's the best play scale Millennium Falcon that they've ever made, because they switched to sort of a new design for how they did the circular pieces on the top, so they fit together without gaps. So you see some gaps from the front, but like from the top, or generally most angles where you look down on it from, you don't see gaps, and it opens up really nice too. I have the original trilogy figures put in there along with the Force Awakens ones, but you can see how this thing is actually about the same width as it. You can see side by side, they're about the same size. Now this one's going to be a lot thinner because most of this stuff is just like another layer of plates on top, and the living area is kind of in the middle, whereas the Millennium Falcon is kind of thick all the way through, but they're about the same width, and the Galaxy Explorer is actually about the same length too. So
yeah, that's really crazy.
yeah, I was not expecting that at all. It's a little bit sleeker. The Lego Millennium Falcon's a little bit stubbier, but cool. All right, well, thanks everybody for watching, and
Yeah.
stay tuned. We'll do more of this again soon. Like I said, we're kind of getting back into streaming, and you can watch too. I'm streaming a little bit on this channel on some of my different programming projects. So I've got the space combat game that is kind of like my big ongoing project. I made a bunch of really nice progress on that this weekend actually, so I'll probably do a project update stream at some point. And then for something fun alongside that, I'm building a text-based Oregon Trail style sort of 8-bit microcomputer style survival game that's also set in my fictional universe. And the next stream that I do on that is going to be really interesting, because we're going to get into some neat random events and start fleshing out some actual gameplay where the player kind of has to start managing resources and interacting with different random events that can happen. And I'm going to try to get Katie to come on and see if she can help come up with some ideas for interesting scenarios and write some of that. So yeah, stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter if you're not, and subscribe, and we'll